From there, really, it's just a matter of practicing it. Anytime you feel something going on, taking a moment to pay attention inside yourself and ask, what am I feeling? Hello, you sexy and gorgeous soul. Welcome to Practice Intimacy. This is the place to be to learn all about love, sex, and how to have the best relationships you possibly can. There is a skill that is going to help you so much in relationship. I cannot talk about it enough. That skill is emotional regulation. Being able to notice your emotions, soothe yourself, calm down when you have an emotional reaction is going to be one of the most important skills if you want to stay in in any relationship really, but I was going to say if you want to stay in a partnership that feels good and is satisfying to both you and your person or people, learning this skill is infinitely important. There are lots of ways you can emotionally regulate. There's many things, but there is one thing in particular that I actually really love, and it's so simple. And so I'm going to tell you what that simple practice is. I'm going to explain the neuroscience behind why this works. And then I'm going to share a tool, a thing you can use to get even better at it. Would it be a tool? I don't know. When I get to it, you can decide. I think it's a tool. So first, the easy, simple thing you can do is when you feel something, put a name to it. Name what you're feeling. Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling scared? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling lonely? Am I feeling helpless? Am I feeling hopeless? Like, what are you feeling? Because when you do this, so we're getting into the neuroscience of why this works. When you name a feeling, what you're doing is you're using your left hemisphere, which uses language, to regulate the right hemisphere. So, emotional reactivity, it's a whole brain process. All parts of you are working on this, but it is more a right mode process because the emotional information that comes from our body up into our brain actually only feeds into the right side, and then we make sense of it with the whole brain. And so it's more of a right brain process whenever you're emotionally flooded in some way. Our brain communicates with each other, but it also inhibits each other. So like the different hemispheres, part of their job is to communicate and make sense of the world as a whole brain. And part of their job is to inhibit the other side to try and make sense from their main way of seeing the world. And so if the left side of the brain sees the world in a way that is really linguistic and logical and regimented and sees everything as tools and not necessarily as living things, whereas the right brain sees things more metaphorically and emotionally and sees connection between all things and recognizes a whole being or like a whole picture rather than just parts of it. We need both sides to live well, but they do different things. There's some separation between their jobs. The left hemisphere does language. And so whenever you put a word to the big feeling inside, you're using your left hemisphere. When you do that, you are inhibiting the right hemisphere a little bit. So you're saying, wait, emotion, hold on, don't flood me. I'm naming what's going on inside. And so I'm using my left brain to calm things down. It is one way to help send GABA throughout your nervous system. If you name a feeling and you find where it is in your body, it's also going to turn on the witnessing mind. It's going to turn on the medial prefrontal cortex, which is a part of our brain that allows us to like pay attention to what's going on inside of us in the present moment. When you turn that on, the witnessing mind, you're sending GABA, which is another way of down-regulating your nervous system, calming things down. Doesn't mean that you're going to feel immediately better, no, but even like a fraction of a second of calming down the flood of emotion is going to help you. And the more you can do that, the more you're going to discover, oh, I can stay calm in these situations that used to be so hard. Whew, okay, a lot of brain science. I hope that all made sense. I'm sure it probably does. There's enough understanding about the differences in the hemispheres for people to be able to go like, oh yeah, I see that there is a way that they interact and also stop each other from flooding and only having their perspective. We need the whole brain online to really function. And so yes, it's great to have the right mode processing information of here's what I'm feeling. And it's also great to have left mode processing. I'm going to describe what I'm feeling in words to help make sense of my internal experience and calm everything down. Both are important. So, what is the tool that you can use in order to get better at this? Something that they've found in the research is that people who have more nuance in explaining or describing what they're feeling, there's a correlation between that and emotional regulation. So the more nuance I have in my language of describing what I'm feeling, the more they're noticing that I would also tend to have emotional regulation. Whereas if I have very few words to describe what I'm feeling, if I know very few words to explain what I'm feeling, I'm going to have more emotional reactivity. They're not cause and effect, they're just correlated. There is a difference here. But I don't know, there's something to the idea of maybe being able to speak and understand what you're feeling might be regulating in and of itself. It's just that's not what they're showing in the research right now. That's more of like a theory. Whereas in the research, it's just showing correlation. The more words you know happens to be correlated with the more emotional regulation you have on board. And so the tool would be something like this lovely pillow. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but this is the emotional wheel. And in the center, it's got, I think 6 or 7. It's got 6 different primary, what they call primary emotions. I hear 5 different primary, I hear 7 different primary, I've heard 8 different primary emotions. I don't actually know. When I think about this, I tend to think of Jaak Panksepp, who has 6 primary emotions. But anyway, who knows? Who knows what it actually is? On this particular pillow that I love, they've got fear, anger, disgust, sadness, happiness, surprise, which those are usually the 6 that I tend to see in a lot of different research. So those are pretty good examples of primary emotions. And then from there, what they do in the next layer and the next layer is they nail this down with more nuanced language. So there's things like peaceful, proud, joyful, humiliated, hateful, enraged, furious. Let's see, what are some other ones? Revolted, hesitant, ashamed, powerless, empty, lonely, awe, terrified, worthless. There is a lot of nuance on this pillow. Sorry I was turned away. I hope you could still hear me. While I was reading words, I hope you could still hear me. Hopefully so. We'll see. So, if you wanted to, you could probably find this pillow on the internet for just a handful of dollars, maybe $10 or less. I think this pillow cost me like $12 or something. And they also sell posters. You can find this for free online and just print it for yourself. But it is a tool you can use to start really understanding what's happening inside of you. If you're a person who has not learned a lot of nuance in the language of expressing what you're feeling, then going out and getting a list of words that are feeling words is going to help you build the ability to do that. From there, really it's just a matter of practicing it. Anytime you feel something going on, taking a moment to pay attention inside yourself and ask, what am I feeling? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling scared? Is this loneliness? Is this helplessness? Is it multiple different feelings all at once? I'm thinking about what just happened today. Roe versus Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court, and I had so many feelings. I had heartbreak, I had fury, I had deep sadness, I had fear, like so many different feelings. I had numbness too that was coming in trying to help me not feel all of those different feelings at once. And so sometimes whenever you're tracking this stuff, you'll notice that you've got multiple different feelings going on all at once. And if you want to help regulate them, start by just naming them, naming what's happening inside, naming what you feel. There are more steps after that, and maybe I'll just briefly touch them right now because we're here. It would be things like asking the feeling, what are you trying to tell me? What information is in this feeling for me? So it's really a curiosity move. What else is going on now that I know the feeling? And you could stay and track what the feeling is like in your body. You could talk to another person about what you're feeling. That's going to be regulating too. But really the biggest thing is knowing what you're feeling and then getting curious about, okay, what is this feeling trying to tell me? There is important information in this feeling. What is it trying to tell me? Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and have a great day. Bye for now.